Good afternoon, it's 12:45 on Thursday the 18th of March and this is the Lite Bite lunch. Well, good afternoon, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Jason Keating from Barbeque Cowboys. Unfortunately, it's looking like our other guests are having technical issues and haven't yet managed to get in, but hopefully they will be able to join us shortly. So, what we're going to do to start with, Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit about Barbeque Cowboys and what it is you do there?
Hi, my name is Jason Keating. I'm the owner of Barbeque Cowboys. We're situated in a small little village just outside Gorey. Very unusual place to be. We're 8 minutes from Gorey, but we're close to Tinahely and the whole lot. But we started out as an outside catering, smoking food company. So we did the likes of the festivals for a few years, weddings, private functions, but our style of cooking is based on the American style of smoking food. So I have a background in chefing. I trained in Dublin in the Golden Ball Cooper's restaurants for years. So I was able to bring that skill with me into the likes of a whole new section I didn't understand was smoking hot smoking food, which it was good to be able to bring the experience of a chef into an area that it's only kind of done by people at the moment in the backyards doing smoking food that come up with ideas of this. So I was able to bring that in. So we were going along grand festivals, did the likes of Slane doing very major festivals, and then the COVID hit. So that kind of sent us off track for about 3 months. We had to sit, rethink of what way we're going to do this. Now we're, like I said, we're situated in Hollyford. So we kind of looked with the premise that we're in, it was an old shop that we were renting and storing, putting our store and our stuff and doing our prepping. So we had to look at it to say, right, we're right beside a pub called Cooney's, and he wanted to reopen and he couldn't reopen without food. So we decided, right, we set up the marquee beside our usual setup that we set up in festivals. We put beside his pub, a laneway between the pub and the shop, which had got him open, and that was going grand. Then we seen the opportunity, let's kind of push this forward a bit more and use the premises as a takeaway. And it was very hard to convince. We convinced people how it was going to be done, convince the banks and the whole lot. And then when you actually open it, it's very hard to try and convince ourselves then to say, right, we're in the middle of nowhere. If you do check us out, you will see where we are. And we said, right, let's take the gamble. We got grants off the government, which that helped us an awful lot. Which then we decided to get out the shop and try to get it up to the standards of the health or HACCP and the whole lot, which is very hard to do as well under the pressure we were with such short little money we had. So we eventually got that going, and then we were looking at because we had a product, burnt end beans that we were using in festivals. We found that a lot of people liked them and kept coming back for this certain product. So we looked at the Musgraves Food Academy, and that was about 6 months of training with them, and then we got accepted onto it. So with the lockdown, the COVID helped us to change our business in a different way. Now we're not over busy, but we're a lot busier than we thought we're going to be in the area we're in. So we went on for Musgraves Food Academy, which the beans are going onto the shelves in May. They were very happy with it, but it was an awful lot of work to get that, an awful lot of cost as well to get onto the Food Academy and get the product onto the shelf, branding and that whole lot. So and then we have the takeaway that's going well from Bamboo app. Now, little things are starting to help to get us, our name is out there, and people are coming from afar. With the 5K now, it's hard as well, so we have to try and do deliveries, but we're still a bit out to get to people with the deliveries. But it's working. We're getting there. And then the good thing is, well, hopefully we have to look at trying to get a seating area outdoors, so when hopefully things will start to change again. So we're always thinking of what way to change things, keep it going, which the lockdown was bad but good for us as well, because it gave us a chance to do things we talked about doing.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly are on the right track. I mean, I know that you've been a long time trying to get it to the point you have it at, and you've so many more plans you have in the future. But tell me, for you, seeing as the show is called the Lite Bite Lunch, what would be your light bite if you were going to grab something quick to eat?
If I'm grabbing something quick to eat, strangely enough, I'm a chef, and the strange thing is I create a lot of recipes, a lot of things of what I've learned, but I don't actually like eating the food. I cook the smoked foods. I was never a mad smoked food fan, which is kind of strange that O'Neill cook up to the standards. You get an awful lot of Americans and all through to the standards of the smoked food that they eat. So to eat, it's either, if anyone's been gory, grab me something Subway's Headed or something to eat, or I will go through the day, because you're trying to cook staff costs the whole lot of the time we're in, that you're trying to do everything yourself, that you don't get to eat about 9:30 at night or 10 o'clock. And then you're trying to say, well, I'm going to need a proper meal, and you end up eating a proper meal, and then you end up dying 3 hours later in the other day.
So all in all, pretty much you're picking your way through the day.
Picking your way through the day, what's the easiest thing to pick, and that's always the base on, is a chip. So you're just grabbing a chip every now and again, because you're fed up looking at the food you're cooking. And mind you, everyone's coming in saying it's lovely and the whole lot.
Well, I mean, I've tried it previously at a couple of different events you were at, and I'll verify it is lovely. So,
well, we got one good compliment. We got Kevin Thornton down one day who did the Fela, and he came along and he tried the food at the Fela, which we set up 2 units off a unit that they didn't know who he was, my staff in there, and he came back and told them it was the best ribs he ever had.
Yeah, well,
that was great.
Absolutely.
So it's good to get feedback like that, because you know yourself, you keep doing something over the years, you don't know what it's like anymore. You just
So going forward, I mean, if you had a wish list for government, for people going forward, what would your wish list be to try and help your business grow?
Wish list to help my business grow. Is it a wish list, or is it what you actually get up and actually do yourself? You know what I mean? You're kind of saying there's a list of things and a direction which way we want to go. Like at the moment, we're sitting there thinking beans are going out there on the shelves. We get into 6 super values. The advertisement, the picture of the takeaway is on that. So do we start throwing all balls in the air, hoping when they start falling, we're able to control it? Because we have the opportunity of a sit-down area outside as well, and then people are starting to ring us about weddings as well when the lockdown lifts. So we have to be very careful, because like Musgraves and Super Value there's an awful lot of pressure from that as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
at the end of the day, you can only produce so many.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're trying to pick what to do, and I know when the festivals start coming back, because we always repeat on the festivals, like the ones at Slane, we're always brought there. Once you got your slot, they will always use you. So our wish list is to be ready and to be able to have enough staff to cover all them areas. But the hard thing is, you can't go and apply these staff now, because things could change within a week again.
Right. So in terms of, I mean, would you like to see the government introducing a deal being done, say, with the likes of RTE, Virgin, or one of the other, like one of the satellite channels, to offer specialised discounted advertising packages for micro businesses? Would you like to see the government saying, look, at what we're going to do is over the next year we're going to reduce the VAT rate again and hold it reduced?
Yeah, I'd like to see that, and I'd like to see small business being more noticeable from the big business, like your insurance company and mortgage companies, that they can still operate and still look for their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we can't, and we're respecting what the government are asking us to do. But the likes of like a repayment on the van, I try to get that reduced. And they say, oh, we don't do that. And I says, well, the world wouldn't be in a pandemic either. You know what I mean? But they're still allowed to operate, even though we're put at, most businesses put out a stop. We're being lucky, but you still feel it for other business, and you still try to help the other business out there and trying to promote them in any way possible as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're just kind of, so you need a bit more to get us out there, a bit more kind of hope given to us, or kind of the look. The lockdowns are not working really well for businesses, and people are starting to suffer. Even though we're open, that's great, but still, our person that's buying that stuff owns businesses or has a job in that business, and they're not getting the money either to try and support even what's open.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And as a result, I mean, that has huge strains on your mental health then.
Yeah, you'd be nervous every time you go to the doctor.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? It does, and but you have to try and think, kind of end up trying to not look at the news too much, because like we done an awful lot in the middle of this pandemic. We went up to Bray and set up in July there in the car park in Bray Seafront, which was doing well, but we didn't. The club owner didn't have the proper planning permission, so we got about 2 months out of that. But it was that fear. But once you start doing it on a bay, standing back in the whole lot, that kind of fear goes away a bit. But then you get stopped. You know what I mean? Without the planning permission, it's just kind of.
Yeah. So in other words, another thing you'd like to see is some sort of fast track in terms of giving planning permission to let the likes of yourself get out there, make a living in a safe way. Yeah,
because that was operating well. That had 4 of the businesses put into that car park in the middle of a pandemic that was able to operate to give people that bit of change when they came for a walk, grab something and walk on the beach and eat it.
Yeah.
But they stopped that, and you're kind of saying there wasn't an issue. We were able to operate for 2 months, and it was happy. Everyone was happy. It kept people's mind at ease. You could have conversation with people. You talk about the COVID. You could go and walk on the beach, get something different to eat. But it was stopped, and you're kind of saying like things like that. You kind of should have just let go ahead, because this is the law. This is it. But a pandemic wasn't the law. You know what I mean? We had to change our way of living. But the law making money for the council government didn't.
So how then will you in Barbeque Cowboys celebrate getting back to an easing of level 5, even say it's back up as far as level 3 where you're able to do something? How will you be celebrating that? Will it be just a case of you'll be working twice as hard because hopefully you'll have 3 or 4 times as many to feed?
Yeah, working twice as hard, and then being able to have that change, get people from out. Like, because barbecue food is about bringing people together as well. It's different, and it's not a celebration. The celebration be seeing other people out and about and the mental health getting better. That's the celebration we be able to see, because we're out, we're working all the time. Our mind is not on it. Like even on my day off, I crack up because you're working so hard. But just to see other people, like we're open yesterday, and people are coming. Yeah, we're in the 5K limit, which they weren't. They were delighted to be out. The sun is shining. They're in a nice village to go for a walk, and it made us feel happy. It wasn't like the fact we're getting the customer, but to see people happy. You know what I mean? And people are just talking about can't wait until the pubs out that you can sit out in the sun, have a drink, and get to socialise. And that's the way we will celebrate, is seeing other people.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been down to your new takeaway area and that type of thing, so I don't know how viable it is. I've noticed quite a few places now have started offering a park and dine arrangement, whereby you literally pull up in your car, you order by through WhatsApp, you pay by card, they come out, give you your food at the car, right, and you tap your card for payment, and that's starting to become quite widespread. Now, again, how successfully it's working for places, I don't know, but I'm seeing more and more places starting to promote doing it. Is something like that something that could work where you are? Like, would you have the space if 3 or 4 cars showed up to park up?
Yeah, it does, but you're kind of looking at it, kind of a lot of cars clustered in the village. It's a lovely little village. It doesn't. So what we're trying to promote, we looked at it, is to say our sit down area at the moment is the village, the river walk, the mountain walk all around us. That's our sitting eating place, our sit down dining place. So we get a lot of people coming in, going for a walk up the mountain. They have a new walk up there, and we should get them in to say, well, you can bring a pack from a switch and go on up the mountain instead of sitting in your car. But bring this switch in a bag, go up, have a walk. They have benches all around the place up there. Stop off, have a picnic, and look at the scenery, and get your mental health better by being out in fresh air and away from what's happening, away from the news and your phone. And to sit there, we get people doing that as it is. Like Paddy said, you have three carloads full up, but it doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
that's
So we're trying to look at if we can even spread benches out further around the village that you can just drive off. So you're not on top of each other. You're a bit away, but there is kind of a good bit around our area at the moment.
right. That's good. As I said, it's nice having the rural location. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of it's nice to have it. In the summer it's lovely. In the winter you're just like crying. You know what I mean? Like it's a ghost town. You know
yeah,
what I mean? If you actually look up Hollyford, we are like as someone said, the pub and us, we are the village.
right.
You know what I mean? The only thing we're missing is an undertaker.
Right. So where are your thoughts at now in relation to vaccines?
My thoughts.
Yeah. Like, do you
Um,
think that the way they're rolling it out, the priority lists, the way they're doing it, are the right way? Do you think that there's ways they could be doing it better?
it's very hard to get a thought on it because every day the news is different about what's happening about the vaccine. You know what I mean? And then you're
Yeah.
kind of saying you're that thought about what the vaccine is, but then you still have your own thought. Am I going to take? Do I need the vaccine? Do I feel comfortable getting the vaccine? You know what I mean? And you're kind of saying, I don't know. I mean, your thoughts is all over the place. You have a
Yeah.
different thought at every news headline.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? You're kind of different. It's like the COVID. Every day was different. You don't know. You're kind of saying you hear about people getting the vaccine, but you don't actually have any indication that you're going to get it, or your partner's going to get it, or the next door neighbor. Because no, they only have it at a certain stage and given it to certain people. But you just don't feel. You actually feel like it's never going to come to
I mean,
you.
are we reaching the point whereby we should actually be saying, do you know what? We don't want a daily update on the numbers. We'd actually
Yeah,
we'd far prefer if you said, do you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Every Monday evening, we're going to give you the figures for the week. We're going to give you the figures in relation to vaccinations. We're going to tell you where we're at in terms of the vaccinations and in terms of um, who we're going to do next. Like, I mean, I have to admit, I was quite dumbfounded this morning when I heard that the Gardaí are actually deemed as low priority for the vaccine.
yeah. I didn't know that now.
This,
Yeah.
this morning, someone from the Garda Sergeant and inspectors was on, and they have a meeting with the minister today about it because they're actually deemed right down at the bottom of the pecking order. But I mean, what I also heard during the week is where they were originally doing people who were high risk category as well as the ages. Then they scrapped it, went back to just the ages. Then they reintroduced, they were doing people who were high risk. But I've heard that the high risk list have been suspended temporarily because the high risk were being the main receivers of the AstraZeneca, which has been
Wow.
suspended.
But that hasn't been suspended over
Like,
here, then, has it?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was suspended here as well. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and I think the reality is, we're not going to know for quite some time what the reality is or what the dangers are to this vaccine. In the same way, I reckon it could be 5 years before we see the effects on people's mental health that this lockdown has had.
Yeah.
But I still believe we have to keep fighting forward and we have to keep pushing on as best we can.
What's the saying? Create or die or creation. You just have to we adapt to everything. Our parents adapt to it, people adapted from the war. So we just have to learn how to adapt to it, even though we don't like it. It's hard,
Yeah.
but we have adapted to a lot of other things in life, which we went through a recession and the whole lot. We learned to adapt that. We came out of that. It's just, when you look back at your past, 3 years of your life could have been bad 10 years ago, but we got over it and we carried on.
Yeah.
And it's become part of history then. You look back at it. At least you have something to talk about. Like our grandparents went through a war. Now our parents didn't go through anything, but they're going through this pandemic with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, okay, they did. We did have a recession in the 70s as well.
Oh, yeah, recession, yeah. But your parents don't go on about it that much because you went through hard times and they got on with it.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? I don't think my parents got on how to tell you in the 70s you kind of born, you went through it, the hard times we dealt with it, but we never kind of looked because we got through it. And here today, most of our parents are sitting there in the grand house. We're struggling to get a mortgage nowadays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But they learned to
absolutely.
adapt and fight it. We got through it.
And I think again, that's another side of it, is the whole cost of getting into a home and that type of thing, and figuring out where exactly, how are people going to afford it? Because again, it's something that needs to be made more affordable for people.
Yeah. And to be something, a safety net put in for when things like this happens. Not the mortgage company carries on making their money when you can't withdraw payment with the government, because they're in an office, they can work from home, but the likes of a lot of people can't work from home.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
totally.
mean? So they still have that mortgage to pay either way. They want it. Like it did put a hold at the very beginning, but that seems to fade away now. Even more lockdown, the more lockdown coming, then ideas of trying to be helped by your mortgage company or your insurance company are fading away. They just want that money now.
Yeah. Right. Well, again, unfortunately, at the end of the day, likewise, they are a business and they do have shareholders to answer to. But it's a case of finding a happy medium.
Yeah.
Because I mean, exactly the same thing could be said in relation to the insurance companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're the same. They just, yeah, they need a happy medium. The government needs to say to them, listen, you have to help the average worker out, the average person out there. They're the people that are actually paying your wage at the end of the day.
Right.
We are. And if they start hammering us, there's going to be a knock-on effect. Businesses are going to start closing. They're going to start losing business further down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It will be a knock-on effects eventually. How many businesses have closed so far, and how many businesses are not going to reopen when this lockdown eventually lifts?
Right. Well, I mean, on the flip side of that, then, how many businesses are actually going to get rid of their offices and actually put people out working from home, and see that this is actually a greater opportunity? I mean, the figures are there to back up the fact productivity has increased. People are saving more money now than when they were working. Okay, largely they're saving because they've nowhere to go to spend it.
Yeah.
But I mean, are we going to be the generation that are going to see that going to an office is a thing of the past?
Well, is it a thing of the past? At the end of the day, your productivity is up at home because you have nothing else to do. But when lockdown gets lifted, you will start moving around more, you start doing more. You have to do it at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
it looks great at the moment because you're stuck in that area. You can't leave. It's like you've been put in a cell for 5 years. You're still going to do stuff. But if you're allowed roam free, not as much is going to be done in that little room you're in.
Right. So again, it's one of those that I don't think anyone's going to have the answers for several years. But it's certainly going to be interesting as we go along to see exactly where it goes and how they can actually move things forward.
Yeah. That's a strange one, all right. But like I said, we learn to adapt, which we always have. That's the human race. We have always adapted to life. You know what I mean? And you could say, old people have adapted to smartphones. You know what I mean? We can't adapt to everything.
So have you any plans to get away anywhere this year if restrictions were lifted?
They were restricted. I'd love to get away, but with the beans and most guys feel having beans gone out of the shelf, they go to 6 shops and they start selling, you will get more. I'm doing a skill that I'm actually trying to find it hard to find someone to come in and train. We get put up on the social welfare site now to get someone in to train, but we can't at the moment. So it's going to take me about 2 years to train someone to do what I'm doing. I can't walk away from it. Like even today, I'm up since 9 o'clock with the smokers down, getting food through it because we had a busy Mother's Day. We had a busy yesterday. And then I'm in practice. I'm trying to work out a plan on how to be doing that smoking because I need to smoke meat in the beans that's going in the shop shelves as well. So I think the only holiday I'll get is delivering to the shop.
Well, the Costa del Cortown, is it?
Yeah, Cortown and probably Arklow. Hopefully get as far as Bray.
Oh, great. So, in your mind then, what do you see as being the next step for your business? Is it going to be actually getting into the shop so you can push your food? Is it going to be increasing the range? Because I know you said to me you were working on a few new products there. Is it going to be building a bigger processing so you can produce more food? Where is it your priorities lie at the moment?
My priorities is getting the product on the shelves, but I know that's not going to make us money for about 2 or 3 years. So we still have to concentrate on the takeaway. We still have to concentrate on government changing the restrictions that we can't have outdoor eating. Get the outdoor area set up. Hopefully that we get some kind of grant to do up an outdoor area to get people sitting there. So like, even though that it's great to get that product on the shelf, there's an awful lot of work and money went behind to get that there that has been made back. But I know that's not going to happen for another 3 years. So I can't just sit back and think, oh yeah, that's going to work. I still have to look at the bigger picture, to look at getting people through that door, buying the product from me in our premises here, and then still trying to get more functions and wedges through the door. We still have to look at it that way, and that's the way we have to go forward. And then hopefully when it gets to this, we're back out in the fields and festivals, and that will help to promote our products in the shop shelves as well. That's what we're hoping to do.
Right, so but you certainly have like what sounds like a good plan in place, and certainly as soon as the restrictions do ease, I will make a point of getting down to Hollyford to see. As you know, I do spend quite a bit of time down around the southeast with clients and that type of thing, and I'll certainly make a point of getting through Hollyford to see you the next time I'm down.
Yeah, and then have the whole experience, as we call it. But the pub next door to us is really old school pub. You go through the shop to get into the bar, which is lovely that way. Even Guinness made a Guinness ad down in that pub, which was. It's a strange little village. It has it's small, but an awful lot of people know it for some strange reason. It's just connections that we have to it. Even on the Food Academy when we were doing a presentation to Musgraves and SuperValue went down in Cork. One of the head lads turned around, I grew up in Hollyford. I think it's a great idea. I worked with Granny's farm in Hollyford. And it's kind of strange little village, and it's lovely. People come to it and just love it. You know what I mean? And you will enjoy it. It's nice walks around there, nice scenery around it. Yeah. And you're close. You're 8 minutes from Galway.
Yeah. So as I said, you're like you've good transport links once you can get to Gorey and that type of thing. So and you'll have everything on your doorstep down there. Yeah. Absolutely. So if you were to give a message of hope to any micro business out there, because by the sounds of it, you've got things pretty well together, right? What type of message of hope would you be putting out to people to say, like people who are looking at this now and are saying, do you know what? I'd love to be in the position they're in because I feel my business is dying. And I mean, again, you can look across a whole range of industries. Yeah. Only this morning I spoke to 2 people who work in different areas backstage in theatre. They've been out of work for a year. There's no likelihood of them coming back anytime soon. And as they said, even if the restrictions lift, they're not in a position that they're straight back to work, because there's going to be at least 6 to 8 weeks prep for a show. And within that 2 months, anything could happen and they could be back out at work again. So, I mean, if you had some words to say to the people, this is going to improve, things are going to get better, what would you be saying to them?
What would I be saying to them? I don't know, it's very hard to give people encouragement if you're trying to do something. You're kind of saying, yeah, we're doing well, you should do this, that. You know, it's their situation as well. It's kind of, hope is, it's like us. We're still getting, even though we're doing what we're doing, it's getting to keep doing it and getting the hope that it is going to work. You know what I mean? For the music industry and the whole lot, like, I'm hoping for that to come back. You know what I mean? They need some kind of hope, which I don't know where we're going to find that hope. It's just like, where I found it was basically giving up on the news, like we said, and don't listen and putting your head down and carrying on. But I don't know where we're going to answer that question. I'm getting hope. You know what I mean? I didn't like, you know, it's down to yourself to give yourself hope, I think. You can sit there and listen to everyone saying do this, do that, at the end of the day, you walk away. It's up to you to find that hope and do it yourself.
Yeah, so basically...
You know, it's very about, like, that's the way I look at it, and that's the way I dealt with it.
Find how can you pivot in this moment in time.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's offering training online in what you do or something like that. Whatever way you can find an outlet to remind people you're still out there.
Yeah, doing courses online. I don't know, it's hard to say. Ooh, I'm kind of stuck in that one a bit.
Yeah,
I hope to answer this question.
Yeah, I know. Well, as I said, I mean, it's a case of there are no right or wrong answers at this moment in time. Everyone is just looking to try and draw on the experience of others who've gone through it. As I said, thankfully you're one of the lucky ones where, because of lockdown and because of you having to pivot and refocus, you've managed to come through it that bit stronger. You've come through it as a business in a better position than you were, while not financially in a better position than you were.
Yeah.
But in the longer term, those goals will be there.
Yeah, it's the foundation that you had a chance to do it.
I mean, again, it's something that I had hoped to talk with Martin, but as I said, unfortunately, he's had technical difficulties, and we'll have to work on those, and we'll get them back on at a later stage. And because I know he's seen a massive swing in people who are focusing on getting the business entirely online, forgetting about the shops. They're all handing back their leases and whatnot on the shops to move the business entirely online, and trying to perfect the digital footprint for the business. But again, for some businesses, that really won't work because of the fact that, for example, if you need someone to physically come in to pick up your product, well then, having a totally digital scenario, that isn't really going to be ideal.
No, because not everything will be done, like, send through the post. Food, a lot of food outlets cannot be like bought online and sent through the post. You still have to go out and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you still want to focus on the, like we went on the bamboo, and don't concentrate on the delivery, is to click and collect. It's get that person out there still.
Yeah.
Come to us, to get out of the house, come and have a little chat, the whole lot. You know what I mean? We're a nation that we like to chat, we like to hold a conversation, we like to go into the culture and have a chat and talk about the weather and the whole lot.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, one thing I would say to any micro business out there, irrespective of what your industry, is certainly have a look at the Micro Business Awards. Mm-hmm. Now, I've been running the Micro Business Awards for the last number of years. This year we have a great range of categories. The categories are Reinvention with Attitude, the Making Business Better Star, the Black Planet Champion and the Green Champion, the Artists, the Artisans and the Makers, the Food and Drink Heroes, the Young Entrepreneur, the Event Experts, the Online Trader, the Startup Star, the Giving Back, which is a business with purpose, the Over 50s Club, the Digital Genius, the Website Innovator, and That's Entertainment. And then as side ones, then you have the People's Choice, which is where you ask people to vote for you. And of course then overall we'll have the Irish Micro Business Superstar. But what we've actually done is we've gone one stage further, and this year we're running the same range of awards in the UK. So for everyone who's a finalist in the Irish Awards, you're actually going to pick up additional promotion in the UK, because all the finalists from Ireland and all the finalists from the UK are going to go into an additional competition called the Micro Business Awards UK and Ireland. As you can see, we slaved for hours over a name for it. But it'll be a great opportunity there for micro businesses to get their names out there.
Yeah.
If anyone does want any more information about the Micro Business Awards, you can always swing by the website, which is www.irishmicrobusinessawards.ie, and you can enter through there. And as I said, give us as much information about your business as to why. And I've no doubt we'll be seeing an entry from the Barbeque Cowboys in there as well.
But I'm going to just fill out the application form there now.
That's exactly. No, well, I mean, again, thankfully I can talk about it. I can say to people, look, I think you have a great business, you should enter. I've no involvement in the judging, so that gives me a little bit of an escape on that side of it. But I know from talking to the judges, I know exactly what they are going to be looking for. And they want to see that passion, they want to see that drive that you certainly have for what you do. And that's what they want to see from every business, because when you have that passion, when you have that drive, getting it to turn profitable will happen in the long term. It can be, though, a really long, hard struggle.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a little bit earlier than we had intended on finishing up, but as we only have yourself in, I think we'll make plans to...
Running out of things to think and talk about.
Yeah. No,
Is this the first time ever doing anything like this? Okay. It's hard. It's not hard, you're just running out of ideas. Not ideas, but the flow.
Yeah, no, well listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, Jason, and we will put up, when we after the video, we will put up links to your website, the whole lot, and then hopefully we'll be talking to you very, very soon.
Okay, no problem, and thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
It was an experience.
Storybox Audio. Storybox Audio. Storybox Audio.